All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Town of Lockport organizational meeting for January 3rd, 2024. We'll start the meeting by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, once again, welcome to our January 3rd meeting. Welcome to all the people that are watching on LCTV. We appreciate you tuning in and taking the time to learn about what's going on in the town of Lockport. Clerk Newbold.
I would like to ask Supervisor Crocker, Councilmember Sejak, and Councilmember Keough down to the podium for installation, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and faithfully discharge the duties of your position in and for the town of Lockport to the best of your ability? Yes. Thank you.
All right, before we get started with our formal meeting, I would like to, on behalf of the town board, take a moment to remember the fallen friend of ours, Barry Coburn. He was a wonderful dog control officer. He sincerely cared for the animals. He had a heart of gold. He was dedicated to the fire company at Rapids. And most of all, he was a good friend to almost all of us. We knew him, we appreciated his sense of humor and his dedication to his family. So if you would, I'd like to take a moment of silence for our friend Barry Coburn. Thank you. All right, so we're going to start with our normal meeting, which includes public speaking. We have public speaking rules, and I'd like to go over them briefly. Number one, speakers should be able to, if they're able to stand, give their name and address. Number two, only one person at a time may speak. Number three, all comments may be directed to the town board. There will be no back and forth with the audience members. Keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. This is your opportunity and our opportunity to listen to your concerns. It's not to engage in back and forth with the board. If you have any questions, you may state them. If they choose, the board may address your questions after the close of public comments. Lastly, if abusive comments are made from the floor, or if any speaker uses inappropriate language or becomes unruly or personally attacks any person, you will be cut off and may be removed from the hall. Okay. So I'm going to open up public comments right now for anybody who has anything they'd like to address the board. Please, your name and address and your issues, please.
David Mangiolo, 5099 Bay Road. Yes, Barry was a nice guy. I served next to him multiple times being a volunteer firefighter. He stood up beyond and above for the community.
Indeed.
Hello, my name is Dave Mangiolo. Past 4 years, I do have a video channel. It's under David Mangiolo. If everybody wants to see the proof of these documented videos, they're on my YouTube channel, David Mangiolo. For the past 4 years has been the most difficult for law enforcement. It seems to be getting worse. We see officers second-guessing decisions they need to make for the good of the community, especially when the state forces them to release criminals back on the street. It frustrates the officers seeing these criminals commit crimes again and again, having to arrest the same criminals over and over. It's unacceptable. It can be fixed at a local level, but the local politicians won't, putting our men in blue at risk. Worse yet, when politicians force officers to break the law, yes, this has happened in New York State before. In the early 1900s, it was called Tammany Hall. All elected officials belonged to the Irish mob, senators, congressmen, police chiefs, mayors, and more, and they used their money and influence to convince the people they were good, when in truth they were committing the worst crimes imaginable. Thank God they were stopped by everyday people on the grand jury. The current Democratic downstate crime syndicate is forcing unlawful and unconstitutional statutes down our throats, pursuing an agenda against the public good. To make it worse, the local officials make excuses, saying they can't do anything when in truth they can. But they won't, because they get paid by the government, lifetime benefits and all. The state steals our money and taxes and uses it to extort local politicians to protect the criminal enterprise. At what point did we, the people, give up our rights and become slaves to the Democratic majority, having to obey these ridiculous statutes that are virtually killing people, statutes written by incompetent politicians? We deserve better. We deserve leadership willing to stand up for the common good of mankind. But our rights won't get protected because this criminal syndicate exists right here in our county. Talking to attorneys in other counties, they refuse to even practice law here because it's so crooked. Some attorneys even go on to say it's like going to a different country. I demand the immediate resignation of select officials and government employees. They have committed crimes and violated town ethics, in turn losing the public trust. These officials, including our own Sheriff Bill Sutton, committed misdemeanors by lying on court documents. These officials forced sheriff's deputies to file fraudulent harassment charges, even though the deputies knew it was wrong. As they stated on body cams you can see on my YouTube channel. These three officials are Mark Crocker, Darlene DiCarlo, and David Miller. To secure the public trust, I demand the resignation of Judge Cheryl Kowiak. She gave unlawful legal advice because she's not an attorney and violated judicial ethics by recommending these officials commit a crime all caught on body cams. I demand the town stop using Seaman Norris Law Firm. Brian Seaman, the county district attorney, pursued fraudulent harassment charges, has lied to taxpayers, and refused to prosecute politicians that have committed crimes. Mike Norris, our state assemblyman, at least has committed 3 state crimes, but was not charged because he testified against co-conspirators George Maziarz and Senator Robert Orr, who were both indicted. Dan Seaman, who was the town attorney 10 years ago, lost public trust because he told town residents to F off when they tried to help him after he crashed his truck intoxicated. He resisted arrest and refused the DWI check and resigned a month later after he brought it at the town board meeting. To secure the public trust, I demand the resignation of Tom Seaman. Yes, we are human, we make mistakes, but you should have not refused a lawful request for a DUI check during the check. And of last year, you pleaded guilty. To secure the public trust, I demand the resignation of Paul Sajak for stealing our election signs. There is a police report on it, it's on my video channel. To secure the public trust, I demand the resignation of Gerald Fowler for doing unlawful, unnecessary reassessments and ignoring court orders. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Monticello.
Hi guys, my name is Dan, Erie County. My residency is Erie County. And I come up here to also demand the resignations from especially Mark Crocker, the corrupt supervisor of the town, who just literally took an oath of office, swore on the Bible, and minutes later gave us restrictions of speech during public comment meetings, and threatening law enforcement removal of the town hall for saying things like fuck, piss, shit, or cunt. Those are constitutionally protected words. You all just swore an oath on the Bible. That is not something you can restrict in this public meeting under any circumstances. So if you're not going to take your oath serious, then I suggest you all resign. I've seen a lot of corruption in this town, and I've been here a short period. And I'm just letting you all know, you guys are all under investigation. And I will be investigating every single one of you, including stealing of election signs. Guy thinks it's funny. Look at that smile on his face. This guy here gaslights. Mark Crocker, he's out here gaslighting the public here to answer questions and refuses to answer questions. That's all I got to say. I would expect some integrity from you guys, and you very well should resign.
Thank you, Mr. County. Do we have any other speakers that should be here tonight? Name, address, and your issue, please.
Yes, my name is Steve, and I'm also from Erie County. New York State real property tax law requires the town of Lockport, and really all upstate towns, to properly assess residential property values and all property values at full market value as of July 1st of the year preceding the publishing of the final tax roll. Let's take a look at how the town of Lockport did in 2023. So July 1, 2022 would have been the valuation date for these properties, all right? 6579 Royal Parkway North, sold on June 28th of 2022 for $230,000, arm's length sale. Assessed value, $230,000. Applause. The town got that one correct. 6533 Amy Lane, sold June 17th, 2022. Sale price $319,500. Assessed value $300,000. Ooh, off quite a bit. $19,500 below the sale price. 6979 Lockwood Lane West, sold 6/17/2022. $555,000. Arm's length transaction. Assessed value $462,000. $93,000 below the sale price. So the actual assessment ratio for that property was 83%. The one I mentioned prior to that, 94%. The correct assessment ratio that the town says it assesses at is 100%. I represented 6 different residents in the town of Lockport in the 2023 assessment year to challenge their unlawful assessments. I can go down this list of hundreds of arm's length transactions and show that the vast majority of these, 70%, are assessed at 100% or more. That generates an error rate of 30% of these properties that are underassessed. When you underassess an entire town by 30%, that excess tax burden has to go somewhere onto other people because the total amount of tax levy doesn't go down, it just goes on somebody else. In the town of Lockport, that's people who purchased recently, built recently, the people who are not friends of the town government. Now, I had to go on a 5-month odyssey with these 6 residents through Board of Assessment Review to get declined for reductions, go to Small Claims Assessment Review where I won all 6 cases, only to find out that the town was going to email me and say, well, you know, we got the decisions too late. In fact, we don't even think that the hearing officer sent us the decisions. So we're just not going to reduce these assessed values to their lawful, correct, lower value before the 2024 town and county tax bills come out. So we have illegal assessments on the roll. So this issue's been brought to the town's attention. I know there are people on the board who I've visited and provided this documentation to. And my question is, when are the illegal assessments going to stop? And what is going to be done to hold the assessor accountable for this malfeasance? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. County.
One thing is, a lot of people are asking about this flag.
Yeah, sir, you've already spoken.
I'm just saying, if anybody would like to say why there's not 50 stars on the flag.
Who else would like to speak, please? Your name, your address, and your issue, please.
Hi guys, I'm here to point out some pretty comical hypocrisy I've witnessed from employees and elected officials in here at Lockport. I've printed the Town of Lockport Code of Ethics, which if you guys can read, you really should. It talks about the ethics standards that employees and elected officials are held to. And I'm going to reference this and point out that violating these standards is about the only thing you guys do well. I'll start with section 10.5. No town employee shall accept other employment which impairs his independence of judgment in the exercise of his official duties. And we'll actually combine 10B while listening to some other people speak. Let me find 10B here for you guys. I got it, don't worry. I don't want to, 10B, where'd you go here? Sorry, I had a lot of redress, guys. No town employee shall accept employment or engage in any business or professional activity which will require him to disclose confidential information which he has gained by reason of his official position or authority. I would argue having a town attorney that works for a firm that represents the town doing just that, especially when he's involved in solar projects on both of his firm and the town, when the residents are generally against it, but the town pushes it through. Following that is 10C. No town employee shall use or attempt to use his official position to secure unwarranted privileges or exemptions for himself or others. Watching that body cam footage of some of you guys trying to file a false police report, lying about seeing a gun, and luckily the cop talked you out of that, getting an unwarranted privilege. I would argue that's using unwarranted privileges or exemptions for himself by purely being in a position of power. Watching the husband of a board member get arrested for a crime and getting preferential treatment in the back of a cop car Once again, using unwarranted privileges and exemptions. 10E, a town employee shall not by his conduct give reasonable basis for the impression that any person can improperly influence him or unduly enjoy his favor in the performance of his official duties, or that he is affected by the kinship, rank, position, or influence of any party or position. I would argue that Mark Crocker, bragging that he has the most loyal employees, implying that they don't work for the taxpayers, only for himself, is doing just that. Lastly, in section 10G, each town employee shall endeavor to pursue a course of conduct which will not raise suspicion amongst the public that he is likely to be engaged in acts that are in violation of this trust. Well, guys, I will grant that's a wonderful legal jargon. My father's not a lawyer, he was a farmer, so I didn't get a sweet law job. Nepotism is great when it works for you. So it's hard to interpret, and doing so makes it hard for you guys to actually take the blame for your actions. But I would argue that your town assessor illegally assessing people to generate tax revenue to fund the government jobs program is a perfect example of the incompetency or corruption. Let's not, it might be both, it might be one or the other, I don't know, the town of Lockport. Your taxpayers are receiving poor services from your town and rightfully refuting their assessments. And while quite aware of the legality of these assessments, town officials are continuing to bear their hand in the sand and not support the taxpayers, the same people that put you here, and refusing to correct their mistakes in a timely manner. Section 10.6 states that in addition to any penalty contained in any provision of law, any town employee who knowingly and intentionally violates any of the provisions should be fined, suspended, or removed from office or employment in the manner of law. Now, some people called for you guys to resign. I'm not doing that. It's even better. I understand that, Mark Crocker, you like to say that you're in charge, you're the head honcho. We saw that on video. It was great peacocking. I was impressed. But I know the government's going to investigate itself and find no wrongdoing. Quite frankly, I don't know if you guys are able to do the investigation. I question the competency that the investigation be done for you. But the town of Lockport doesn't care about competency. It doesn't care about service, and it doesn't care about proper business practices. It cares about loyalties inside the club and the government welfare paycheck that they are guaranteed. I know you guys aren't going to resign. You guys can't step down. You guys aren't going to fire yourself, and quite frankly, it's because you can't. I question your ability to function in the real world, in the market of ideas, and I question your ability to have a real job, one that's funded by customers who actually want to use your services, not ones that are forced to pay for your services through implied gun violence, because if the people didn't pay their taxes, you would gladly send men with guns to remove them from their homes so you can sell it and take the surplus proceeds. We know that. Because of this, I feel terrible for the town of Lockport because they're horribly represented by some awful people. They're not sending their best. So again, I know you guys aren't going to resign, you guys aren't going to step down, you're going to keep your jobs, you're going to keep the paycheck. But I want to give you one thing. You guys know who Amy Schumer is, the politician? You guys are the Amy Schumer of politicians. Sorry, she's a comedian. You guys are the politicians. No one knows how she got there. Nowhere finds her to be quite talented. It's probably who she's related to or who she's sleeping with. But unlike you guys, you do have a one-up on her. You guys are actually funny. You guys are a great punchline. The best you can do is a government-funded welfare job paid for by the people of Lockport. You can't create, you can't innovate, you never survive in the market of ideas or the real world. So I want you to know, every time you guys cash that government-funded paycheck, we're laughing at you. You guys are a circus. Lockport is a circus, and you guys are the clowns. Dan's got a little nose for you guys if you want to share it when you get in your clown car afterwards. But
Sir, can you
I'm not
consider?
done. I want to let you know,
you're
no
not
matter
done,
how bad of a day I'm having.
But can you consider
I'm
wrapping it
not.
up, because we have a 3-minute and you've already gone 5.
Well, it's worth it. But
Well, I'm asking
no
you,
matter
sir.
how bad of a day I'm having,
asking you to
I'm
consider
not.
wrapping this up, sir.
I'm actually, last sentence. Continue to be corrupt, continue to be incompetent, and let me keep laughing at you guys. Thank you guys for your time. Keep up the, well, you know.
Okay, so thank you. As far as our public speaking rules are concerned, the board may address any questions if they wish, because the public comments. In fact, does anyone have anything else to say?
You cut me off, I got more.
Okay, so public comments is closed. And as such, as far as the public speaking rules, the board is entitled at this moment to address any questions that they wish to address. Does the town board have anything they wish to say on these issues? Okay, public comments is now closed for comments from the board. So we're going to move on to our business meeting. We have number 1, approval of the minutes from December 4th, 2023, December 6th, 2023. All minutes may be found